I do not like this Legends UI overhaul. I do not like this Legends update. And I do not like this title screen. This new title screen, while it looks good, is nothing compared to the old one that we had before. There is something that's just a whole lot cooler about having a random 2 characters out of like a good amount of character choices on the title screen than this that they changed it to. The old title screen, you could have the likes of Super Saiyan Blue Vegito versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, UI Goku versus DBS Broly, SSB Gogeta versus SSB Vegito, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Cooler versus UI Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Vegito versus Super Vegito. And you know what? There are so many more combinations, considering that any of these characters could have been chosen as one of the two. And there's more characters that are on the title screens. Super Saiyan God Giblet, Super Saiyan God Shallot, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Even Jiren was on the title screen. And they just threw that all away. In exchange for the same boring 6 characters. Super Saiyan Goku, Final Form Frieza. Wow. Vegeta versus Android 17. Why is Android 17 even here? Perfect Cell versus DBS Broly. Why is this even a matchup? Why is Cell on the title screen? Why is he on the left side with Goku and Vegeta? Honestly, this looks ugly. Not the art. No, not the art at all. Even though it does kind of look like the renders are done with different art styles. And that kind of throws it off a lot. But I do like the art. But wow. They just made one of the coolest, most dynamic title screens of all time. One that changes each time you open the game to keep variety into the same 6 characters every time, which will no doubt get stale within probably like opening the game 4 times. It's already gotten stale for me. Which is honestly not all that insane to me. And there was a really easy fix they could have done. Use this new 3v3 format and use the old format of having different characters. That way, you know what we can see? Really cool art. And also have a different title screen whenever we open the game instead of the exact same thing. Oh, and not to mention this, the title screen now looks too much like a fake Dragon Ball game. A fake Dragon Ball mobile game now. And I haven't even gone into the game yet. And I already dislike this more than the previous update. Loading into the game, we encounter the first thing that I genuinely despise about this new update. You can no longer choose your daily login bonus. You just get a fixed 10 Chrono Crystals now. 10 measly Chrono Crystals. Instead of being able to choose what you want, you get 1/100th of a summon. And now I ask, what the f*** are you supposed to do with 10 Chrono Crystals? You want to know how long it would take for you to be able to do the first step on a step-up banner? 30 days. 30 days of logging in to do the cheapest multi-summon in the game. And this is instead of being able to get the equipment fragments, exchange medals, seed medals, sparking medals, energy, things actually useful. Nope. we just have to get 10 Chrono Crystals daily. Now with no say in the matter whatsoever. Which means it's now harder to get seed exchange medals, harder to get sparking medals, and whatever else was in the daily login bonus lineup. Oh, but don't worry, they added it to a Legends Pass exclusive exchange shop. I'm not kidding when I say this. They added all the stuff that you could choose for free from the daily login bonus to a Legends Pass exclusive exchange shop. Why did they feel the need to change this? Was it really slowing down the game? The 3 seconds it took to just choose something? It was taking that long? Really? And with the excuse of speeding up the game, we take away stuff that benefits players. Great. Closing out of that, we get a look at the absolute eyesore of a new UI. This new UI might be the biggest sin of the entire update. No, wait, no, actually, no. I'll get to the biggest sin of the update later. You will see it. You will see it, and you're gonna know why I dislike it. This is the old UI. Top from bottom, it looks beautiful already. And exciting. More exciting than boring ass white. But we'll get there. From the top, we have the Z level, your energy, and chrono crystal count. Each thing having a nice shape to it, which makes it stand out on the screen in actual color. It looks like something you would see in, Dragon Ball media. Then to the right, we have the presents, missions, guild, random robot that no one uses, and profile icons with color. And let me say that again. With color. The orange makes them stand out, and it looks really nice too. The orange is such a good color to go along with the blue of some of the other icons, especially since Goku's gi is orange and blue. It matches Dragon Ball. And you can also see what each thing is with the nice icons. The left of the screen has current events of interest and advertises summons that are active. I'm pretty sure it's also just the news section right there. And at the bottom, we have recommended events. And then the bread and butter of the game, the different things you can play. There's the story events. Tournament of Power that clearly shows the amount of TP you have, meaning you can see when you have enough to play the mode without going on the mode itself, and PvP. Then, of course, the bottom right corner has the menu that opens up to a lot more things in the game. Everything looks good. Everything looks nice. It's not an information overload, and it's easy to read. Let me say this again. Everything on this home screen is easy to read. The new layout is absolute garbage and no one can convince me otherwise. Top to bottom, once again, we have the Z level, energy amount, and chrono crystal count, all in a box. Big eyesore of a rectangle at the top of the screen. And not even the very top, it's just slightly off to the point that it genuinely annoys me. As it would have looked so much better if they placed this ugly white rectangle in the same spot that they had the upper UI section on the old home screen UI. Also, it's harder to read. Not by too much. But they actively made the text smaller. I could barely read the numbers without having my phone super close to my face. From afar, it looks like a jumbled mess, especially the energy. They sucked all of the soul out of the top part of the UI, and it looks like such a downgrade. The shapes, the color, all gone and replaced with ugly, boring-ass white. The right side of the screen, just the icon, still has that robot thing that zero people care for, and also a nice addition of the news being there, which I think is actually pretty useful. The left side no longer has the active events and summons and such, which does make it look a little less cluttered. But this bottom menu right here, this bottom menu, this down here is where I have the biggest problem. First of all, the shop is now blatantly on the home screen, rather than subtly being there to tell me to go collect my daily item. And the free chest icon looks smaller for zero reason whatsoever. There's no recommended content on the home screen anymore, and the aspects of the game that I referred to as the bread and butter of the game is now different. Story and PvP are still there, but Tournament of Power is notably missing from these. Events was just moved to the overlay UI that you will see no matter where you are in the game, and will likely accidentally tap on one of these options and get frustrated by that. I like that they gave all of these shapes, but they went from boring squares to slightly less boring parallelograms. Missions was moved to the bottom menu as well. So were the events, like I said, and in addition to this, we also have characters and summons, which I actually have zero qualms with. I like that the summons and character stuff are actually represented on the overlay menu. Still not the home menu, but it's fine. Making the boring rectangles slightly slanted isn't going to take away from the fact that they are still boring rectangles, which are now white instead of that orange that stood out and looked nice. I'm just going to say this right now. I hate that they went with white for the new UI. I think it looks stupid, I think it looks bad, and I think they shouldn't have changed it. This white genuinely looks like that one episode in SpongeBob where Squidward went to the future and everything was covered in chrome. This looks ugly. It looks so bland. They literally sucked the soul out of the game's whole look and took its sauce away. And now, it is time for a lightning round of nitpicks and things that just annoy me about the UI. Hyperdimensional co-op is now only in the events page, so anytime I try to go on it with my muscle memory, I end up tapping the Legends ranking instead, and that annoys me a lot, because why even remove the button for hyperdimensional co-op? Getting flashbanged by a white screen the moment I open the game. This not being filled out. Not being able to see the TP I have for Tournament of Power without going on it myself and checking. Adventure being in a different spot so my muscle memory screws up and I tap the upgrade instead. Exchange Shop not being in the same spot so I tap the empty space that makes the menu look hideous instead. Character list having a slot on the menu and not hyperdimensional co-op. Every menu being white now, so I'm constantly being flashbanged by the game. The party information screen looks ugly. The white background that the game forced on you when you first opened it after the update. Being unable to see the background I chose behind my favorite character because the game wants to just default it to either the light or dark basic background on the home screen. They changed the font or something. I know they did something to the font because everything looks so much more weird and tacky, and I hate the new font or size or whatever it is that they did. The daily chest in the shop is now all the way at the bottom, meaning I have to scroll all the way down just to get the thing that was literally right in front of my face before this update. The way the events are listed annoys me a lot, but I can't put my finger on exactly why it does, so anytime I see it, I feel annoyed about I feel annoyed without knowing the exact reason as to why this annoys me. A new mission layout for the UI makes me want to do a backflip off of a moving semi-truck into a pile of needles. Why is everything so spaced out? They changed the sound effect for almost every single thing in the game, except for the fact they made it so inconsistent to where some of the sound effects are changed, some of them aren't. And the sound they chose for it sounds so stupid.
Let's get things started.
Like Iron King put it, like, perfectly. It sounds like you're in Vegas about to do slots. And I hate it. They changed the fucking forfeit screen. Now, instead of a slightly transparent box, it's a huge white eyesore that covers more than half of the screen for 5 words! The mission plan's placement in this new layout makes it look stupid, and way less special than it being at the top of the mission screen. The limited revival banner not being placed in the revival section of the summon screen. I know that has nothing to do with this new layout, but like, come on, Legends. And lastly, the back button and menu buttons being smaller and harder to tap accurately. That's it for the lightning round. Now it's time to get into the biggest sin of this entire UI update. This PvP screen is the definition of an eyesore. And honestly, this is where that UI overlay really screws up the look of everything. For starters, everything is pushed down for the sole reason of showing off character trailers. And I don't mean just gameplay. No, I mean the actual clips from the previews of these characters as a background. Who asked for them to change this? Who asked for them to push everything down and give us a constantly moving and distracting background instead of a static one that did its job perfectly fine since there was already enough movement in the menu itself? I'm not kidding. Just moving the UI up a tad bit would genuinely fix my problems that I'm about to go through. Why can I not see my selected team anymore at the bottom, underneath the different PvP options? Instead, there's a direct link to the exchange shop, friend battle, and boost characters that they could have just placed elsewhere. Or, by moving the UI up a tad bit, it would have made it so that everything would fit. But no, we need to see the same 4 characters on loop constantly because that's super engaging. It doesn't just take up more RAM. In fact, that's probably the reason why you have to have at least 4 gigabytes of RAM to be able to play Legends now. Just this one stupid change to the PvP screen. The GodTube button is now super small and barely drags attention from the very distracting background. The battle history is now at the top right for God knows what reason and is so small that when I first logged in a few days ago to check out the new update, I thought they removed the option for it. The whole UI at the top is super small and annoys me to try to look at since it was like way better how it looked before. With this new moving background, the treasure battle menu looks really stupid since it just blocks the thing that the game wanted you to see so badly apparently. There is so much empty space on this screen that is so easily fixed by shifting the damn UI upwards. Okay. In my opinion, this new update is just them doing the same thing that they did with reveals and stuff, and that is, for some reason, sucking the life out of it and making it look streamlined for whatever reason. Probably zero reason whatsoever. Which I will dub chromification. It's sort of play on the modernization thing, except it's as if everyone wants to look as bland and boring as possible by dousing every menu with chrome. Which in this case is white. Boring ass white. This boring white color that is just a flashbang no matter what background you have selected. For the love of God, Legends team, please add a fucking dark mode. My eyes cannot take flashbang after flashbang after flashbang from these bright menus. My closing statement. Revert the title screen, PvP screen, Tournament of Power menu icon to show my TP, and lastly, add a dark mode. I give this update a completely unnecessary thanks I hate it out of 10. I guess I'll do an outro now. If you enjoyed me ranting and reviewing this update, leave a like, I suppose, and subscribe for more of me being annoyed with things that don't need to be changed, which is all I have to say. Actually, I have one more thing to say. I do like the transition menu. Being able to see my characters is cool, but let me choose which characters I want to see, because I don't want to see Majin Buu on my screen ever again, just because I have him. So until the next time you hear my voice, I speak it to the microphone, or you're watching an old video, Overhex out.